Hey guys, it's Sherry, and I am in my car again. And this video is going to be for people who are just getting started with meditation or want to get started meditation and like you just don't know where to start. I think a big reason it's so hard for people to just get into it is because there's just so many meditations out there, so it's hard to decide on which one. But I believe like all of them, even though there's like millions of meditations, fall into one of two categories. And the first is mindfulness meditations, which is basically any meditation whose purpose is to bring your mind into the present and sort of stop thought. And this could involve either listening to an air conditioner or the sound of your breath. It could be a frequency. I know I listen to a lot of like frequencies on YouTube. Like I'll pick like the 420 hertz, which is supposed to be like, I think, love, or like there's frequencies for wealth, for wellness. I personally, I don't really know if it matters, to be honest with you, but I just pick sounds that like I can just basically just like focus on. And the reason I do this with the headphones is because it kind of blocks out other sound as well. But it doesn't really matter which like method you use. The purpose of this kind of meditation is to sort of stop yourself from thinking. And the other kind of meditation is called guided meditation. And again, this could be any kind of meditation. Like any kind of script or any kind of objective, but the purpose is to sort of focus your mind into a certain place. So it might be a meditation for astral projection, for like going to like another past life, for just feeling good and feeling loved. Like there is literally like, there's so many, but the purpose of the meditation is to direct your thought onto a particular goal. So when you're first starting out, my suggestion is to pick at least like 3 of each of these kinds of meditations. Like you could pick one that's just like, just listening to your breath, one that's listening to a frequency, and and then you could pick one that's like just like trying to connect to your spirit guide. Honestly, just be experimental, because if you're just first starting out with meditation, I think it's really important to not get too serious about it and not be too serious about the results, because that can really just be like a major impediment. Like if you're just constantly stressed about something and you're not seeing results right away, it's very unlikely you're going to follow through with it. So if you're just getting started, my recommendation, pick at least 3 of each, maybe more, and then just do it. Like, that part isn't as easy as it sounds. Obviously, it's 2024. Like we literally, like everyone here, I think has like a pretty busy schedule, but, it's really just a matter of picking out like a time that's realistic. For me, I actually prefer the middle of the day because it helps me sort of just like plug into the universe. Like I tend to get tired and like during that time of the day. So it really helps me to sort of just like get a second wind, but my schedule allows it right now. I know for a lot of people, like they swear by early mornings. It's a good way to start off the day. Especially like if you have kids, like maybe like try to like, get up a little earlier. But it really is just like whatever works for your schedule, and then to like actually be realistic about it. So after you have kind of picked out your meditations, whichever ones you want to do, and then you've picked out a time of day that's actually realistic, then set a certain amount of time. Go to a place where you won't be disturbed and make sure that you feel safe and that you're comfortable. And then just do it. Like, just try it. And believe me, at first, it probably won't work, which is why most people like swear they can't meditate, because like obviously like we all have active minds, and it is literally training yourself to do something so different than you're used to doing. Like myself, like my mind is constantly going. It's like literally I had to really train myself to be like, okay, for like this set amount of time you need to like stop. But it took time. And that's another thing, like if you're just starting out, like, really, really try not to be like too attached to results, because, you know, if you're just starting out, like, really, really try not to be like too attached to results, because, you know, if you're just starting out, like, really, really try not to be like too attached to results, because, you know, if you're just starting out, like, really, really try not to be like too attached to results, because, it's probably not going to happen right away. Like, it takes time to even like train your brain to do that, and then you might not even notice like all of the benefits right away. So if you're attached to that, it's going to be really, really hard to keep going. That's why I suggest just like keeping it playful, keeping it fun. Try different meditations. Like, you might have an amazing experience the first time, and then if you do, by all means, keep doing that meditation. But if you don't, it doesn't even mean that the meditation doesn't work. It just might mean that like you haven't, you know, been doing it regularly. But if you just keep going and keep like setting realistic times that you can do it, like, I assure you, like you will notice. I could go on and on. Like, there's like literally like there's so many you know, studies about how it's good for health, it's good for wellness, and like all kinds of stuff. Like, I'm sure you've heard that by now. Who hasn't? But doing it is different. Like, it's, you know, it's just a different, like, you'll just notice. Like, I just notice I get just like random insights throughout the day. My body just feels like a little lighter. Like, there's just, for me, like, I know the benefits, but it's something that has to be sort of like experienced, I think. But it is worth it, I assure you. So those are just my like 3 really simple tips. Like, if you're just getting started, have fun with it, try a bunch of meditations, and be realistic, and then just like stick with it even though you don't see results, because it's not something that usually happens all overnight, or like, honestly, everyone would be doing it. Like, it's not as easy as just having like, you know, a glass of wine. Like, you know, it takes time, but it is worth it. So I hope these tips are helpful. And before I go, I just wanted to address just like a couple questions. I know a lot of people ask like, well, how do I even know if I'm doing it right? Like, what is this like meditative state? And I like Abraham Hicks' definition of it, or how she describes it. She describes it as a state of just like floating, where like you kind of feel like you're detached from your body, but like not in a bad way, not in a scary way. You just feel like you're kind of just like kind of floating, and, you know, like, just, I don't know how to explain it, but you'll know when you experience it. But again, don't get too hung up on it, because like that can actually stop you from doing it, and it can actually get in the way of meditating. Like, if you're constantly just like, am I feeling it yet? Is it working? Like that, you know, will actually prevent it. So don't think too much about it. Know that you will know when you've experienced it, and if you keep doing it, like, you will notice results in your life.